You're listening to the Acadiana's Morning News Podcast, brought to you by LABI and always on KPEL965.com.
Hey parent, you don't need the latest gizmo, slang, or clothes to be a perfect parent, because kids in foster care don't need perfection. They need you. For more information on how you can adopt, go to adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax Pros studio. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
He'll finally go on trial in Russia. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The American journalist who's been jailed as an accused spy for more than a year.
Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich will be in court on June 26th for the beginning of his criminal trial. It'll take place in the Russian city where he was arrested, Yekaterinburg. And as is usual with espionage allegations, the case will be heard behind closed doors. The 32-year-old was detained in March last year, suspected of gathering intelligence about a military facility for the CIA.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Gershkovich denies he's a spy. The U.S. is demanding his release, calling him wrongfully detained. Israel's prime minister is disbanding his war cabinet after political rival Benny Gantz resigned from it, critical of a lack of plan for Gaza, where the war against Hamas still rages. But the Israeli military is going to pause the fighting during the daytime along a 7-mile route in Rafah to allow more humanitarian aid to Palestinian civilians, as Israel also deals with another Iran-backed group firing rockets from across the Lebanon border.
Hezbollah's increasing aggression is bringing us to the brink of what could be a wider escalation, one that could have devastating consequences for Lebanon and the entire region.
Israeli Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari, a man on U.S. illegally arrested Friday in Oklahoma, is facing extradition to Maryland, where he'll be charged in the murder of a woman last year, Rachel Marin. The family's attorney, Randolph Rice, told Fox this morning.
Right now, they're just incredibly relieved that they caught this man.
Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez is also suspected in a home invasion in Los Angeles, attacking a girl and her mother. It's going to be a very hot week from the Midwest to the Northeast.
Heat alert stretching from the plains across the Great Lakes, the Ohio River Valley, in towards the Northeast. So potential record highs today for Syracuse, Erie, Pennsylvania, Chicago as well.
And Fox meteorologist Janice Dean says it could hit 100 degrees in Manchester, New Hampshire by Thursday. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here. Let me ask you this. Does inflation feel worse than what we're being told in the news? That's because the official inflation rate doesn't tell the whole story. Since January 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back. But what you can do is stop your losses today. How? By diversifying your savings into a gold IRA from my friends at Birch Gold Group. When you're done, your money will be parked in a tangible asset with a proven history. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. I trust Birch Gold. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax-advantaged status. So text PROTECT to 989898. That's PROTECT to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
Days after Republican Senator Chuck Grassley announced he's opening a congressional inquiry into Boeing and the FAA. The airplane maker's CEO is getting ready to return to Capitol Hill tomorrow to face more questions. His company's been under increasing scrutiny since the door plug blowout on an Alaska Airlines flight in January.
Boeing CEO Dave Calhoun will testify before senators amid a growing number of whistleblowers alleging multiple safety issues with the company. The company has responded to a number of allegations, calling them inaccurate. One whistleblower claims he pushed back almost daily about safety issues he found on planes that had left the factory floor. The Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations Chairman Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut says Calhoun's testimony is an important step in addressing Boeing's failures. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures are mixed before this week's trading. Down for the Dow, but up for the NASDAQ, which closed Friday at a record high. A dramatic finish at golf's U.S. Open, a major championship.
Bryson DeChambeau entered the final round of the U.S. Open with a 3-stroke lead, then trailed Rory McIlroy by as much as 2 strokes during it. But both entered the final hole tied at 6 under. McIlroy missed a short putt for par and bogeyed, while DeChambeau had an incredible chip out of the sand and saved par. winning the tournament for the second time in his career.
I really wanted this one, and I turned the corner and saw I was a couple back, and I said, nope, I'm not going to let that happen, and that bunker shot was the shot of my life.
Meanwhile, McIlroy has now finished second in each of the last 2 U.S. Opens, losing by 1 stroke both times. Greg Thompson, Fox News.
The new UFL has an old champion. The Birmingham Stallions shut out the San Antonio Brahmas 25-0 to win the title in the UFL. The Spring Football League formed when the XFL merged with the USFL. The Stallions won that league's championship twice. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Your 24/7 news source, on air, online, and with the KPEL News app. Now the headlines from the KPEL News Center.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Wirtz with a look at news on this Monday, June 17th. A Rain man is charged with 2 counts of attempted murder of a police officer following an investigation by Louisiana State Police. The incident happened on June 3rd. Acadia Parish Sheriff's deputies were trying to arrest 52-year-old Jacob Richard when he ran from them. When they were able to detain him, he stabbed both deputies with a knife. One deputy did discharge his weapon, striking Richard, who was transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Both deputies were also treated and released. Richard was booked into the Acadia Parish Jail. A 17-year-old has been arrested in connection with the shooting of a 15-year-old on Friday night on Van Buren Drive in Lafayette. The victim is in stable condition at a local hospital, and Lloyd Corville has been booked into the Lafayette Parish Correctional Center on a charge of attempted second-degree murder. Eunice police are warning consumers to be on the lookout for skimming devices after employees at the Dollar Tree discovered such a mechanism on one of their register's credit card machines. The employees were not sure how long the device had been there. Police are investigating and reviewing security footage to determine a suspect. Meanwhile, consumers are urged to monitor debit and credit card activity. 8 people have been arrested and warrants issued for another 6 in connection with multiple ATV thefts in Acadia Parish. Charges range from theft to possession of stolen property. During an 8-month investigation, 52 vehicles were stolen in the northeast part of the parish near Church Point. Acadia Parish Sheriff K.P. Gibson says they believe the suspects were working together, and he reminds residents to secure their ATVs and to not leave the keys in those vehicles. The Supreme Court struck down a Trump-era ban on rapid-fire bump stocks, saying bump stocks did not fit the definition of machine guns. A bump stock is a device that can be attached to a semi-automatic firearm in place of a conventional gun stock, enabling it to fire bullets more rapidly, comparable to a machine gun. The court ruled 6-3 along party lines that the ATF had overstepped its boundaries when it banned bump stocks in 2018. The ruling also says the bump stocks shouldn't be classified as machine guns since they don't make the weapon fully automatic. The ruling leaves the door open for Congress to ban bump stocks through legislation. In state news, the FBI has opened a digital tip line to help collect information and evidence following last week's murder of Callie Brunette and the kidnapping of her 2 daughters. The suspects, Daniel Callahan and Victoria Cox, are believed to have also killed her 3-year-old daughter, Erin. Anyone who came into contact with Callie, Erin, her other daughter, Jaylee, or either suspect between Larange and I-55 in Mississippi is asked to contact the FBI or upload information to the Brunette-specific link at tips.fbi.gov. Daniel Callahan admitted that he was responsible for the crimes and blamed his medication for his actions. Both he and Cox face capital murder and sexual assault charges. Officials suspect the case is linked to human trafficking. Law enforcement in Baton Rouge have arrested several men they say had planned to ambush and kill Baton Rouge police officers. BRPD Special Investigations detectives and the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force executed arrest warrants apprehending 25-year-old Dwayne Williams, 20-year-old Bryson Lumbers, and 18-year-old Xavier Gaines, along with a 16-year-old. Authorities say the suspects had consistently posted photos of firearms equipped with machine gun conversion devices on social media. U.S. Representative Garrett Graves says he will not seek re-election to Congress. Last month, Graves said he would seek re-election, but didn't know if he would campaign in his current district or seek to unseat fellow Republican Representative Julia Letlow. Graves' current 6th district was modified to satisfy a requirement to create a second minority-majority district in the state and will stretch from Baton Rouge to Shreveport. Republican Congressman Clay Higgins has landed a key assignment as the newest member of the House Armed Services Committee. The Lafayette congressman is Louisiana's only member of House Armed Services after Shreveport Congressman Mike Johnson had to give up his seat on the committee last year when he was elected as the first speaker from Louisiana. Incidentally, the House is set to pass its version of the 2025 defense spending bill on Friday. That's a look at your news. I'm Tracy Wirtz.
This hour of Acadiana's Morning News has been brought to you by Janny King. The King of Clean has been a leader in the cleaning industry on the Gulf Coast for over 35 years. To find out more about their cleaning and disinfecting services, head to their website at jannyking.com.
I have a tendency to be skeptical by nature. So when I walked into the Good Feet store for the very first time in December and they showed me the arches, the arch supports, I thought, wait a minute, those are supposed to help relieve back pain and other issues. And they explained to me what they did. It's about the mechanics of your body. It's about making sure that everything is properly aligned. It's about making sure that you're walking well, making sure that everything is exactly as it should be so that your body works for you and not against you. Of course, my skepticism continued and I thought, okay, I'll give it a try. Here I sit, 6 months later, and I am an absolute believer. You've heard me talk about the Good Feet store. You've heard me talk about how the back pain that I've suffered for years and years and years, I just don't have to deal with it on a daily basis anymore. And here's the proof in the pudding. Every night I take out my clothes that I'm going to wear the next day, shoes, socks, whatever, so that I can just go in the bathroom, throw it on, don't have to think about it. And every night when I get everything together, I make sure that I have my arch supports in my shoes. It makes that big a difference. You need to go by the Good Feet store. You need to take a test walk. You need to ask the questions. Maybe you're skeptical. It doesn't cost anything to ask. It doesn't cost anything to go in and take that free test walk and ask all the questions. What does it do? How is it going to work? What should I look for? What should I expect? But for you, the proof will be in the wearing. Go to the Good Feet store today. If you suffer with back pain, hip pain, knee pain, you don't want to start walking or exercising because you know you're going to pay the price the next day. The Good Feet store could be the answer for you. You don't have to live in pain anymore. Go by the Good Feet store today. They are on Ambassador Caffrey right next to Chicken Salad Chick. You don't need an appointment. Just walk right in. Go in. Give the Good Feet store a try. What do you have to lose? The pain you've been suffering? The achiness? Go by the Good Feet store today. Ambassador Caffrey right next to Chicken Salad. Party at Rock and Bowl all weekend starting on Thursday with Jeffrey Broussard. Friday, LA Rocks. Saturday, Crossfire. And Sunday, Rusty Metier. Tickets now at rockandbowl.com. God bless you. God love you. And thank God for you.
Tropical moisture has made its way into Acadiana over the weekend and still dealing with the fallout of that today. Periods of heavy tropical showers going to be possible. I think we see a round of that this morning and then a little bit of a break, maybe another round later this afternoon. Showers won't be continuous. They will be on and off over the next few days, but when it does rain, should be fairly heavy. Breezy conditions down along the coastline as well. A little coastal flooding going to be possible. We've got a coast flood watch in effect until Wednesday of this week. As we continue to keep an eye on the tropics, does look like some development possible in the western Gulf. Impacts from that have already been considered in the forecast, but if you'd like a full tropical outlook, you can head over to katc.com and keep an eye on everything that's going on in the tropics this season. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
All right, we have got an accident on Congress Street, 5200 block of Congress Street. That's right near its intersection with Lavio Law. Excuse me. So be careful if you're headed in that area, and please slow down. The rain is coming down in different spots across Acadiana, and when you get under one of those, it's pretty heavy. Current temperature is 78 degrees. Good morning and welcome into Acadiana's Morning News on this Monday. It is June 17th. We have officially crossed the halfway point for the month of June, so half the year believe it or not, is already over. Just boggles the mind. It is June 17th. It's National Take Your Cat to Work Day. I think there's a National Take Your Dog to Work Day. So, stands to reason. Fair treatment of our feline friends. Today is also National Mascot Day, National Cherry Tart Day, and Apple Strudel Day. Somebody had a sweet tooth today. On the other side of things, it's National Eat Your Vegetables Day and National Root Beer Day. Do you remember the homemade root beer that your mama used to make when you were little? If you grew up in Cajun country, did your mama used to do that? We used to go to my grandmother's house, and I could always tell when she had been making a big pitcher of root beer for us, because it smelled like root beer, and I absolutely loved it. And as I think back on my childhood, I think I smile when I think about a big old glass of ice cold homemade root beer from my grandmother. It is, again, June 17th. On this date in 1885, the Statue of Liberty arrived in New York Harbor aboard the French ship that she rode in on. On this date in 1963, the U.S. Supreme Court in Abington School District, that's a school district in Pennsylvania, versus Shemp, struck down by a vote of 8-1 rules requiring the recitation of the Lord's Prayer or reading of biblical verses in public schools. And that's when it all began to crumble, don't you think? On this date in 1967, China successfully tested its first thermonuclear bomb. It was a hydrogen bomb. On this date in 1972, President Richard Nixon's eventual downfall began with the arrest of 5 burglars inside the Democratic headquarters in Washington, D.C.'s Watergate complex. I remember my first visit to Washington, D.C., and seeing the Watergate Hotel. And I don't know, I can still see that, too, in my mind's eye, and thought, wow, that was part of the downfall of a president. On this date in 1994, police captured O.J. Simpson on murder charges for murdering his ex-wife Nicole and her friend Ronald Goldman after a 90-minute police chase. Do you guys, people still joke about that. There are still memes about the white Bronco. There are still memes about the, 35-mile-an-hour, quote-unquote, police chase. That was crazy. I remember watching that on TV Live. Do you remember that? Yeah, it was pretty weird. That's a good word. On this date in 2013, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in a 7-2 decision that states cannot demand proof of citizenship from people registering to vote in federal elections unless they get federal or court approval to do so. You have to have an ID for so many things these days, whether it's to prove age or to prove who you are. But something as important and integral to our democracy as voting, you don't need to provide proof of citizenship for that. Still a head scratcher to this day. We have lots to do this morning. Coming up a little later, we will talk to Daniel Phillips about what's going on in the Gulf. We'll get his take on what he thinks all of that is going to do and how much rain exactly we are expecting. I was on my way in this morning and got caught under some of those really heavy downpours, and you could tell they were tropical. I learned a long time ago from Dave Baker that tropical rain is more like needles. It's little bitty droplets, and your thunderstorms like we saw maybe in May, right, are big fat drops. And I've always found that very fascinating. And it's those tropical showers that are coming in just because all of those, whatever it is in the Gulf and the Bay of Campeche is slinging that tropical rain up toward us. So be careful, because you could, just like I was this morning, you could be driving along fine, and then all of a sudden one of those showers comes down, and it's very difficult to see. So be careful. Take it a little slow on the roads this morning. Maybe plan to head out a few minutes early. KPEL News Time is 6:20.
This
This is Poll Paris with Fox News Director of Polling, Dana Blanton.
If this year's presidential race remains close, third-party candidates could make a real difference. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is the best-known candidate who's not on a major party ticket. He announced his campaign last April, and we've been including him in our Fox News surveys since November. Kennedy gets low double-digit support in the hypothetical contest against Joe Biden, Donald Trump, Cornel West, and Jill Stein. While it's true third-party candidates usually get less support on Election Day than in pre-election surveys, in Kennedy's case, it's also true his support has declined already. 6 months ago, he received 15%. It's been a touch lower each time we've asked and stands at 11% as of May. Yes, that is a small difference. Might not be meaningful, or it could be a trend that tells us more about the race. We'll keep asking the question to find out. Results at foxnews.com/poll. I'm Dana Blanton. That's your Poll Paris.
Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Make it even more important by dining at an Eat Lafayette restaurant and using your digital passport to check in to win a 3-night getaway with airfare to Austin, Texas for 2 from Wings Travel. EatLafayette.com from Lafayette Travel.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines.
Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. B20.
Fox on Tech. New Yorkers are now getting a taste of keeping their ID in their smartphones. New York State now allows its residents to download an app for both iPhones and Android phones that stores a truly digital version of their state-issued identification, such as driver licenses. This digital ID card does what that card in your wallet does, but also gives you more control over personal information often found on government IDs. For instance, when showing a digital ID to prove age, like for getting into a bar or getting that senior citizen discount, you can opt for the ID to only divulge age information and not a home address or your real hair color. New York State is the 9th state to offer digital ID meeting standards set by the TSA so it can be used for airports for domestic flights. Florida offers a digital ID to serve as a backup, but requires a physical card for driver licenses. With Fox on Tech, I'm Eben Brown, Fox News.
Periods of heavy rainfall going to be possible on and off over the next couple of days. Temperatures going to be at about 86 degrees. We stay in the 80s through Wednesday as we deal with a lot of clouds and a lot of moisture out there. Tropical moisture surging in on Sunday, and we're still going to deal with the fallout of that here through the first half of the week with periods of heavy rainfall. Showers going to be on and off, looking a little bit drier after Wednesday. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
Still showing that accident, Congress Street near its intersection with Lavio Law. It does show traffic accident, unknown injuries. Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Department working that particular wreck. Current temperature 78 degrees. The roads are slick in places, so just be very careful out there this morning. KPEL News Time is 7:26 on this Monday morning. It is June the 17th. Tracy Wirtz hanging out with you. Mark is out, getting better by the day. Texted with him late last week, and he's, Mark always has a really positive outlook going forward, and right now is no exception. Last week, as the brunette issue started to unfold, that tragedy when Callie Brunette, they found her murdered, and then officials found out that her 2 little girls, ages 3 and 6, there was some confusion right at the beginning. Was the little girl 3 or 4? You know what? It's tragic. It doesn't matter. And later on, they would find they determined she was 3 years old. Her name is Erin Brunette. Her also dead, and 2 people have been arrested in connection with all that. You remember the Amber Alert going out. One's name is Daniel Callahan, who was arrested once they found him, And if you've seen the video that's circulating all over the place on all the different news sites, it's at our website as well, kpel965.com. He says that he did it. He blamed his medication, said he deserved the death penalty. I don't know that anybody would disagree with that. And then the next day, a woman by the name of Victoria Cox was arrested as well. Nexstar Media's news reported that Jackson police chief, because they were found in Jackson, Mississippi, Joseph Wade, said possible evidence of human trafficking, including small cages, were discovered at the scene. And the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, Hinds County, were all contacted. And I know for me, and I'm sure for some of you out there, as this unfolded, my heart broke a little more. And once I found that out, I know I became just ill. It was just horrible to think what these children may have gone through, what that poor mother may have gone through as all of this unfolded. Right now, by the way, there is a benefit for the Brunette family. It's been organized to help pay for funeral costs because, as you can imagine, that's something that takes you completely by surprise. The murder of a 35-year-old and then the murder of a 3-year-old, just makes me sick. And it just gets more disturbing as you go along because the mother's killed, the 2 little girls are taken, the 3-year-old is murdered, and then this Callahan man and this Cox woman are arrested and not just charged with capital murder, but also with sexual assault. And it just gets more and more and more disturbing. There is a GoFundMe account that has been created to help pay for funeral expenses for these 2. The investigation continues. And essentially what the FBI is looking for is any video, anything that furthers their case, that helps support their case against Callahan and against Cox. You can go to tips.fbi.gov if you have anything, if you know anything. You know, we are a very mobile society. There's every chance that someone from this area may have been traveling in the Jackson, Mississippi area last week, or even through Tangipahoa Parish. So we will keep you updated on what happens. Please keep that entire family, though, in your thoughts and your prayers. Originally, it was thought that Callahan and Callie Brunette may have had a relationship. That may or may not be true, but they weren't having a relationship at that time by all accounts. Just an absolutely tragic situation. Keep them all in your thoughts and prayers. KPEL News Time is 6:30.
Hey folks, it's Joe, and you have heard me talk several times about my time in the classroom here in Lafayette Parish being a teacher, and throughout those years had come across students who had been experiencing or had experienced homelessness. And I'm here with David Owens of Gifting Grace Project to talk a little bit about the work they do assisting kids in Lafayette who are experiencing the same thing.
That's right, Joe. The Gifting Grace Project is Acadiana's homeless children's outreach, and we are proud to be the outreach for these children in Acadiana, providing them with backpacks with school supplies, hygiene products, meal vouchers, and more. Go to giftinggraceproject.com to help us out and make a difference today. Or you can text GGP to 53555 and get more information that way and make your donation as well.
Folks, there's nothing more important than helping our most vulnerable, our kids. They are the future, and we need to do everything we can for them. And that's why David and I are here today asking you to support Gifting Grace Project.
Get involved today. Thank you.
KPEL covers Acadiana with Lowry's Printing and Copying.
Dr. John W. Sutherland will give a fun and informative presentation about his third environmental book at the Southside Regional Library in Lafayette on Johnston Street, Saturday, June 22nd at 2 p.m. Sutherland has conducted environmental projects worldwide and in Louisiana. His third book, Hogwash, addresses environmental concerns about confined animal feeding operations First 5 attendees get a free autographed copy. Derek J. Olivier Foundation of Louisiana Scholarship Fund is a fundraiser for young Derek, who lost his life unexpectedly as a college student. The fundraiser is Saturday, June 22nd at Mona Mee, 7304 Highway 90 East in Jeanerette, 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. Music by EJ the DJ, some delicious food, all for a great cause. Get more details. Call Alma at 337-579-0308.
This is House Call for Health. The FDA recently launching a new task force to combat the sale of illicit e-cigarettes. The task force will aim to take down the sale and distribution of illegal vaping products, especially those aimed at younger consumers. The effort comes after the FDA issued more than 1,100 warning letters to manufacturers, importers, distributors, and retailers for illegally distributing and selling unauthorized tobacco products. The FDA has only authorized the sale of 23 tobacco-flavored e-cigarette products to date. Acting Associate Attorney General Benjamin C. Miser saying this interagency task force is dedicated to protecting Americans by combating the unlawful sale and distribution of these products. And the establishment of this task force, he says, makes it clear that vigorous enforcement of the tobacco laws is a government-wide priority. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health, I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
This hour brought to you by the Matthew James Tax Pros. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
Your 24/7 news source, on air, online, and with the Cape Hill News app. Now the headlines from the Cape Hill News Center.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Wirtz with a look at news on this Monday, June 17th. A Rain man is charged with 2 counts of attempted murder of a police officer following an investigation by Louisiana State Police. The incident happened on June 3rd. Acadia Parish Sheriff's deputies were trying to arrest 52-year-old Jacob Richard when he ran from them. When they were able to detain him, he stabbed both deputies with a knife. One deputy did discharge his weapon, striking Richard, who was transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Both deputies were also treated and released. Richard was booked into the Acadia Parish Jail. A 17-year-old has been arrested in connection with the shooting of a 15-year-old on Friday night on Van Buren Drive in Lafayette. The victim is in stable condition at a local hospital, and Lloyd Corville has been booked into the Lafayette Parish Correctional Center on a charge of attempted second-degree murder. Eunice police are warning consumers to be on the lookout for skimming devices after employees at the Dollar Tree discovered such a mechanism on one of their register's credit card machines. The employees were not sure how long the device had been there. Police are investigating and reviewing security footage to determine a suspect. Meanwhile, consumers are urged to monitor debit and credit card activity. 8 people have been arrested and warrants issued for another 6 in connection with multiple ATV thefts in Acadia Parish. Charges range from theft to possession of stolen property. During an 8-month investigation, 52 vehicles were stolen in the northeast part of the parish near Church Point. Acadia Parish Sheriff K.P. Gibson says they believe the suspects were working together, and he reminds residents to secure their ATVs and to not leave the keys in those vehicles. The Supreme Court struck down a Trump-era ban on rapid-fire bump stocks, saying bump stocks did not fit the definition of machine guns. A bump stock is a device that can be attached to a semi-automatic firearm in place of a conventional gun stock, enabling it to fire bullets more rapidly, comparable to a machine gun. The court ruled 6-3 along party lines that the ATF had overstepped its boundaries when it banned bump stocks in 2018. The ruling also says the bump stocks shouldn't be classified as machine guns since they don't make the weapon fully automatic. The ruling leaves the door open for Congress to ban bump stocks through legislation. In state news, the FBI has opened a digital tip line to help collect information and evidence following last week's murder of Callie Brunette and the kidnapping of her 2 daughters. The suspects, Daniel Callahan and Victoria Cox, are believed to have also killed her 3-year-old daughter, Erin. Anyone who came into contact with Callie, Erin, her other daughter, Jaylee, or either suspect between Larange and I-55 in Mississippi is asked to contact the FBI or upload information to the Brunette-specific link at tips.fbi.gov. Daniel Callahan admitted that he was responsible for the crimes and blamed his medication for his actions. Both he and Cox face capital murder and sexual assault charges. Officials suspect the case is linked to human trafficking. Law enforcement in Baton Rouge have arrested several men they say had planned to ambush and kill Baton Rouge police officers. BRPD Special Investigations detectives and the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force executed arrest warrants apprehending 25-year-old Dwayne Williams, 20-year-old Bryson Lumbers, and 18-year-old Xavier Gaines, along with a 16-year-old. Authorities say the suspects had consistently posted photos of firearms equipped with machine gun conversion devices on social media. U.S. Representative Garrett Graves says he will not seek re-election to Congress. Last month, Graves said he would seek re-election, but didn't know if he would campaign in his current district or seek to unseat fellow Republican Representative Julia Letlow. Graves' current 6th district was modified to satisfy a requirement to create a second minority-majority district in the state and will stretch from Baton Rouge to Shreveport. Republican Congressman Clay Higgins has landed a key assignment as the newest member of the House Armed Services Committee. The Lafayette congressman is Louisiana's only member of House Armed Services after Shreveport Congressman Mike Johnson had to give up his seat on the committee last year when he was elected as the first speaker from Louisiana. Incidentally, the House is set to pass its version of the 2025 defense spending bill on Friday. That's a look at your news. I'm Tracy Wirt.
GI Bill.
Attention fishermen. The fish are buying across the state, and now is a perfect opportunity to be on the water. Hunters for the Hungry is a nonprofit that encourages sportsmen in Louisiana to donate a portion of their game or fish to the hungry of our state through food banks. Now you can also help by providing a monetary donation when you purchase your fishing or hunting license online at wlf.louisiana.gov or your local license provider. Please check yes and donate to Hunters for the Hungry. Follow Hunters for the Hungry on Facebook and Instagram for more ways to show that sportsmen who care share.
Want a relaxing way to spend some time? Louisiana's state parks are right in your own backyard. Spend the day hiking, fishing, biking, and picnicking, or stay overnight at one of our affordable cabins, campsites, or group camps. And tour a state historic site for an educational experience the whole family can enjoy. Call 1-877-226-7652 for more information, or visit www.lastateparks.com. Sponsored by the Louisiana Office of State Parks.
Get your home generator from Prime Energy Solutions and never worry about losing power again. Call them for more info or go to primeenergysolutions.com.
Tropical moisture has made its way into Acadiana over the weekend and still dealing with the fallout of that today. Periods of heavy tropical showers going to be possible. I think we see a round of that this morning and then a little bit of a break, maybe another round later this afternoon. Showers won't be continuous. They will be on and off over the next few days, but when it does rain, should be fairly heavy. Breezy conditions down along the coastline as well. A little coastal flooding going to be possible. We've got a coast flood watch in effect until Wednesday of this week. As we continue to keep an eye on the tropics, does look like some development possible in the western Gulf. Impacts from that have already been considered in the forecast, but if you'd like a full tropical outlook, you can head over to katc.com and keep an eye on everything that's going on in the tropics this season. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
An accident, no injuries though. 100 block of LA 96. That is near Highway 90 in Broussard. Also still showing that accident West Congress near its intersection with Lavio Law, so be careful in those areas. It's drizzling in many parts of Acadiana. Some areas seeing a heavy downpour rather. May not be long, but yeah, if you get under it while you're driving, it's a little tricky. Current temperature 78 degrees. KPEL News Time is 6:43 on this Monday morning, June 17th. And late last week, an announcement was made, reported by the Acadiana Advocate, that Justin Robichaux will return to his alma mater, St. Thomas More, as the new head baseball coach. And I tell you, I think that if you heard this news at the time, your spirit warmed that he's really following in his father's footsteps. He, of course, has been the UL softball team's pitching coach over the last 3 seasons, so this is not his first assignment. He is the oldest son of Tony Robichaux. If you remember, just to follow the St. Thomas More thread, the previous head coach, Cass Hargis, resigned right before the playoffs began. Assistant coach at the time, Chance Harst, took over as interim head coach. Just really excited for Justin and to see what he does. I'm sure he's going to make his dad proud. And it's interesting. If you go to our website, we have the full story there, kpel965.com. And there's a picture of Justin standing there. And he just even stands like his dad. Definitely warms your heart. The Robichaux family, just a great family. And of course, Coach Robichaux, known for not just his coaching acumen, but just his life lessons. He was often a motivational speaker and so well respected and well loved by the team. And so it's going to be interesting to see where his son, Justin, goes from here. Congratulations to Justin and good luck to the St. Thomas More baseball team.
Securing America.
FBI Director Christopher Wray got a lot of attention in December when he said this during a Senate hearing concerning imminent terrorist threats against the U.S.
I see blinking lights everywhere I turn.
That statement was further amplified by the recent arrest of 8 Tajikistani nationals with ties to ISIS in Philadelphia, Los Angeles, and New York. Connecticut Democratic Congressman Jim Himes said on Fox News Sunday, "It is concerning there was no alert information on the individuals when they crossed the border, but
Americans should take some comfort in the fact that the moment these guys started communicating and doing suspect things, we were all over them."
House Intelligence Committee Chair Republican Mike Turner of Ohio told the Fox News Rundown podcast the concern, though, goes beyond that.
It's no longer speculative. It's no longer hypothetical that the administration's policies would result in terrorists coming across the border and coming across with intent to harm Americans.
Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
Got a case of the I don't know what I want to eat? We'll check the dining by district page at eatlafayette.com and choose a restaurant. While dining, check in using your digital passport to win a 3-night getaway with airfare from Wings Travel to Austin, Texas for 2. Eatlafayette.com. From Lafayette.
I heard the call to serve, so I answered. I earned a title and discovered my purpose. I found belonging, an unbreakable bond with my fellow Marines. We fought to overcome adversity together in defense of our nation and its people. I've lived a full life, rich with meaning. And even though I no longer wear the uniform, I am still a Marine. My service has come full circle. I will always look after those around me. I will always uplift and support my country and my community. Because that is the promise I made. That is what it means to be a Marine. Semper Fidelis. Always faithful, always Marine.
Media Minute with Howard Kurtz.
No one would dispute that President Biden at 81 sometimes looks old and a little frail. Donald Trump just turned 78. But when the president was at the G7 meeting in Italy, some media outlets got used by the Republican National Committee, which put out a misleading video that looked to be Joe Biden straying off from the assembled world leaders talking to no one. And that wound up on the cover of the New York Post, meander in chief. But if you look at it from a slightly broader angle, the president was actually talking to a skydiver who just landed there as part of a show and giving the man a thumbs up. Now, to put this out based on RNC propaganda, and by the way, the White House said that this was lying and desperation, just strikes me as making a whole lot of something over a very minor incident. And the press has to be very careful about that. With your Media Minute, Howie Kurtz, Fox News.
Implicit bias. We like it because, well, we like it. We take pride in Catholic conservative guy stuff. So this Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon, grab a weekly whiskey and see if your implicit bias aligns with ours. Implicit Bias, Saturdays, 10 a.m., News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Periods of heavy rainfall going to be possible on and off over the next couple of days. Temperature is going to be at about 86 degrees. We stay in the 80s through Wednesday as we deal with a lot of clouds and a lot of moisture out there. Tropical moisture surging in on Sunday, and we're still going to deal with the fallout of that here through the first half of the week with periods of heavy rainfall. Showers are going to be on and off, looking a little bit drier after Wednesday. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
All right, taking a look at the traffic board early this morning. Still showing the accident LA 96 near Highway 90, but it is a traffic accident, no injuries, so hopefully it's been moved off the roadway. And still showing that accident West Congress at its intersection with La Vie-aux-Lamps. It says unknown injuries. So if you're slowed down in that area, that's why. Maybe it's the way you come into town, then just be careful. Current temperature is 78 degrees. KPEL News Time is 6:52 on this, what is it, Monday morning? Yeah, it's Monday already. You got to start somewhere. I've always said that if you started on Tuesday, we'd gripe about Tuesday. So there you go. Something at least most of us are griping about, and it will only get worse after this week. Yes, the heat. Yes, the flies. I don't know why they've been so bad this year. The last couple of years have really been bad. But after this week, definitely mosquitoes. Oh gosh, they are just terrible. And we have an article at our website that I clicked on because it's about paying attention to the colors that you wear, because they could impact how attracted mosquitoes are to you. Now, of course, we know that they are attracted by your breath, the temperature of your skin, and whether or not you're sweating. Oh, yeah. If you're sweating, they're coming after you. But a recent study by, I'm not sure why Washington State, I guess they have mosquitoes up there, right? Well, anyway, they did a study, and this is what they discovered. Do not wear red clothes unless you want to get bitten. They also like black, are attracted to black and orange clothes. One other color is not necessarily blue, but like a light blue. Those are the colors that they really like. Now, on the flip side, it says a regular blue shirt, like a royal blue, not an attractant for mosquitoes. Neither is white, despite the fact that I don't know that that's true. Also, something green may be less attractive. Purple is a color that mosquitoes may not be attracted to. So if you're planning to head outside, first of all, bring the mosquito spray. We have several cans all over the place. We went and enjoyed some time next to a little pond over the weekend and absolutely had the mosquito spray. And remember to do the things you know to do. Don't leave standing water anywhere in your yard. If you have a wheelbarrow that has collected water, if you're like us and you use buckets from the home improvement stores to collect rainwater to water your plants, then make sure that water doesn't just sit there for a prolonged period of time. So today and tomorrow would be a great couple of days to collect that rainwater. But if you don't use it within the next few days after that, then you're going to want to dump it. Make sure it doesn't just stand there. And cut your grass. They like long grass. I don't know if it's that they like long grass or they just have more to grab onto when the grass is longer. Something else I've noticed a lot more of, in addition to the flies and the mosquitoes, has been wasps. I don't know why, but they are everywhere. Every variety. I've seen the yellow jackets. I actually saw some hornets. Not quite sure if they're dirt daubers. If it looks like a wasp, I am staying away. We are going to talk to Daniel Phillips coming up next hour, the end of next hour, speaking of rain, about how much we can expect what's going on in the Bay of Campeche and in the Gulf of Mexico. You might have heard him in the news say, you just kind of need to be paying attention to the weather, be weather aware. That's become a buzz phrase over the last few years. He'll let us know about that. And I think, too, when we will dry out. Coming up later this week on, hang on, let me look at my calendar. Friday is the first official day of summer, although we in South Louisiana feel like it's already been here for, a month and a half or so. With heat indices getting at 100 or over 100, it has certainly been very hot. But it is the first official day of summer, and it is the longest day of the year. Of course, it has 24 hours like all the rest of them, but the sun will be out longer than any other day of the year. The summer solstice on Friday, the first official day of summer. We've got a look at business news, national news, and local news all on the way. KPEL News Time, 6:57.
Fox Business Report is brought to you by Gulf Coast Bank, your local community bank. Whether your financial needs are for an individual, a business, or for the whole family, Gulf Coast Bank has the knowledge and products to serve you best. With 9 convenient locations throughout Acadiana, you're never far from a friendly Gulf Coast Bank associate.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
There's a merger in the bottled water business. Blue Triton Brands, the parent company of Poland Spring and Deer Park, is merging with Florida-based Primo Water. Blue Triton's headquarters is in Stamford, Connecticut. Primo says in a statement that the combined company will benefit from a diversified portfolio of iconic brands, a national footprint, and the strength of the combined delivery platform. GameStop shares are up more than 1%. The meme stock managed to end last week with a gain, even though its annual meeting had to be postponed. ComputerShare, the host, says the online stream crashed after too many people tried to join. Stock futures are mixed. Minneapolis Fed President Neil Kashkari says he believes the Fed can wait until December to cut interest rates. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Coselda, invested in you.
Hi, I'm Ron Kraszewski, Chairman and CEO of Stifel. Financial advisors, let's face it, if you're not growing your practice, you're losing market share. Stifel is a growing, entrepreneurial, advisor-centric firm built for successful advisors like you. There's a reason why 148 financial advisors joined Stifel last year. Come join us and find out why Stifel is the firm where success meets success. Visit www.choosestifel.com.
Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.